welcome to the RuneScape Developer Q&A. I am Mod Shawnee. Joining me, Mod Osborne and Mod Jack. How are you both doing?
We're really shiny, as you can probably tell from. I mean, I don't know how this has happened, but there's a lot going on in the temples. I'm going to say it's the summer, but
I think it's the lighting and the summer. Yeah.
Lighting and the summer.
So there's a lot of lens flare. It looks like a modern action movie at the moment. Apologies for that. Apologies for the.
So we're going to try a different format for today's Dev Q&A. So normally they end up being around about an hour-ish. The plan is to essentially go through each section, quite concise, but still give you obviously the stuff that you want to see, exclusives, game content and stuff like that. So do stick with us because we're going to be trying this out and we're going to have a bit of fun with it along the way. So let's start off with the news in brief very quickly. So of course, the game update was a patch week. We added in a couple of things. I'll name one highlight, which is keepsaking Saki McGee, personally. You can check out the patch notes on the runescape.com as always. Of course, the Falador massacre event came into play, which we will talk about towards the end of the stream. That did happen. We will talk about it at the end of the stream and give you a bit of an insight into that. And also today, there were a couple of NXT fixes released as well, and you can check them out on the RuneScape forum. So let's get straight into it. Mod Jack, responsible along with a couple of other people for the Gower Quest.
Yeah, we've got a bunch of developers on it.
Yeah, so give us a rundown of this.
So this is a quest that we got the Gowers in to do for the 15th anniversary. We wanted to, for the 15th anniversary, we're all about looking back at RuneScape's history, and so obviously the Gowers are not only a huge part of RuneScape's history, they are all of RuneScape's history in a certain way. And so we wanted to get them involved and get them, because we know that the way they made quests isn't quite the same way as the way we make quests now. We wanted to get their involvement to make something really nostalgic. So we got them in, Mod Osborne, Mark did brainstorms with them, got them to concept the quest, and then we made the quest that they wanted, basically.
Awesome. So
it's kind of like with January, with like all the emotes and stuff. We were celebrating RuneScape with Falador massacre. We were commemorating some things that happened in the past. This was our opportunity to take the mickey out of ourselves.
Oh yeah.
I think is the best way of putting it. This is having a lighter look at some of the ridiculous things that RuneScape represents, and just breaking the fourth wall at the odd time. And that's really what the Gowers wanted to embrace. That's what I loved about them. They could have been really kind of, no, RuneScape's really important. We want to celebrate how important it is. Obviously it is, but they just want to have a bit of a Mickey take of it, as it were, while also cabbages.
Yeah, and cabbages. And I just want to allude to something you said in the BTS, which I believe, I think you mentioned that they didn't really get a send-off as such when they obviously left.
The documentary covered it a little bit, which was that the Gowers kind of found themselves just parting ways, and they never really got to say goodbye with a piece of content, or even literally, they kind of just parted ways. They moved over to their various jobs now, and this was their way of coming back and actually saying goodbye to everybody. They got to meet with a lot of people they worked with for tens of years, at JagX, and got to make something. Paul's synonymous with quests, and now he's got to make his final one.
Awesome. Right, let's jump straight into the question. So, question from Monkey Uncle. What made you want to make the quest free to play?
That was a request from the Gowers. We just asked them, should it be members or free to play? And they said free to play, obviously. So we made it free to play.
I think if you look at the number of quests that Paul's created, a large proportion are free.
Yeah.
It kind of fit. And it's also, the games, we're celebrating the free to play game just as much as the members game. Let's do it.
Awesome. Question from Sanic RS. Have the Gowers brothers been given complete creative freedom, or do they have to make the quest, and will it tie in with existing lore?
Well, the Gowers they got full-time jobs, families, that sort of thing. So we couldn't persuade them to come in and work on it full-time, strangely enough. Just sit them at a desk and create all the models as well. Ian doing his old school cows and things like that. But so the way we looked at it was we really wanted them to create it. So give us the direction. So that was where the brainstorm came. They're really the elder gods of this. They kind of molded everything together and just let us go. And then at various milestones, they kind of either came in or we sent them something and they just said, no, I want this in there. They threw a lot of creative ideas.
Yeah.
For example,
we reworked the story because of something that Paul said.
Yes.
And it actually fit together a lot better afterwards.
Ian Gower wrote his own dialogue because he wanted to make sure he's portrayed the right way. And even just like, I think it was a couple of weeks ago, we got them in for final feedback.
Yeah.
And Paul said he wanted more kind of player choice in there, some more kind of dialogue options, so the player can imprint themselves on the quest a little bit more. We spent time doing that.
Awesome. A question from 5X. What's the official difficulty of the quest?
Experienced. It was going to be novice. That was the original plan. By the time we finished, we said, this quest is so full of references and so full of nostalgic gameplay from 10 years ago that someone who's brand new to the game is not going to have any idea what's going on.
What I love
we
is
upped it to the experience.
That that it's experience, but still gives 15 GP.
Still gives 15
we are
GP,
refusing to change that. That is how it will remain.
Why?
Because it's the 15th anniversary.
Right. Okay, that makes a lot more sense. So that's the logical reason. It was
I
more the
wanted-
excitement.
I wanted it to
15,000,
give 15
no.
quest points, but apparently giving it 15 quest points is a staggering amount of development work. You'd think it would just be
development work.
changing one variable, but it's not.
Why?
Because if we gave 15 quest points, it would knock us over the next boundary into the next category of quest points. So absolutely everything that depends on quest points would have to be updated,
That's
which
worrying
is
that
a
we're
huge
reaching the
amount
next
of work.
milestone, actually.
Well,
We
we've
need
got like 10
helmet
quests
of
to go or
trials and-
something.
yeah.
But if we did 15 now, then
Why? I quite like the comedy of it. There are other rewards. You know, you don't have to fixate on the 15 GP, but it's funny. It's kind of getting the sense of the comedy of the quest, to be honest.
And the rewards we will actually show off in a game section just a little bit, courtesy of Mod Day. So keep an eye out for that one. Should be good fun. But we have a couple more questions, then we'll go over to that. Will a pink party hat be introduced to the game as a quest reward? I mean, we're not talking about rewards as such, but
no, you will not get a pink party hat as a quest reward.
just to give you context, there was an image I believe that was shown with that, right?
Summer Summit, we
Yeah.
had some cabbages with party hats on in one of the
Yeah.
images. I think we probably pushed it with a chromatic party hat with Dimension of Disaster. We were really worried internally about what that would do to people. So a pink party hat would probably be going too far.
Encourage people to get a lot of Xenomax to get them. Like
That's
the
it.
dedication
That
to
would
get
probably be more desirable than 15 GP. As a guess.
them. Gotcha.
But less desirable than a Nebraska Prime Godsword.
It's good. It's good. You've probably seen it at BTS, but we'll show it again.
So a question from Zeno. Can you tell us if Tim and Crunchy feature in this quest?
They do, yes, because we were going to keep that secret, except that the guy who's making the trailer keeps pushing me to try and put more stuff in the trailer. I said, fine, you can put Tim and Crunchy in the
Can
trailer.
you
They know
can you
more
explain?
than
Yeah,
that.
can you explain who Tim and Crunchy are, just in case some people aren't aware?
Oh gosh, yeah.
So they were on the website.
Yes.
We actually
And
looked.
then we used them in all the marketing material
Yes.
as well, like 10 years ago. They were like the face of RuneScape in a weird way, and it's just a guy in
It was a
armor and a
human
skeleton.
playing chess with a skeleton,
yeah.
in similar armor. We looked into how many people knew about Tim and Crunchy. Looking at the people who had played, about 30% of people would know about Tim and Crunchy. We said we didn't care. We're going to put them in anyway. That's how niche and exclusive this is.
But their pet dragon isn't in the quest.
But they are heavily involved.
But they're in the quest. And Zinel's saying I skipped the second part of his question, which we just answered for you, which was what the soldiers are and what they do. So got you on that one. Question from Eric on Twitter. Will the Gowers remain in-game with post-quest dialogue after the Gower Quest?
Is there post-quest dialogue with Azanadra after this quest?
No, there isn't, actually. I need to go write some now.
Yeah, I think you should.
Translation, I love that. Hey, Azanadra, I want to talk to you about the Gowers. No, but it's not. Templar Citizen isn't a requirement.
Oh, of course. There's probably some 5th age, 6th age stuff.
There's a little bit of dialogue with the Gowers, but not much. There's dialogue with them during the quest, but there's not much post-quest dialogue.
Yes, but there is some cabbage-related post-quest, I believe. Yeah.
Awesome. Right. So we're gonna get ready to pass over to Mod Days in just a second, but I just want to give a heads up because the Gower Quest trailer is releasing this week, I believe.
I think so.
It was mentioned in BTS. I'm positive it is, unless it changes
Yes.
somehow. So you can keep an eye out for the Gower Quest trailer that comes out this Friday. So that should be very interesting. And we're going to pass over to Mod Days because he's going to show off a little bit of the Gower Quest and a couple of the awesome awards to keep an eye out on. So take it away, Mod Days.
So hello everybody, welcome to the Gower Farm. This is the start of the quest. You will find it just south of the Varrock Lodestone. So you can see up here we've got the wizard circle. So you just come down and this is a brand new area that we've transformed and made beautiful. So we just wander inside. And who do we meet in here? Where have they gone? Someone's deleted. Someone has deleted the Gowers.
Because you completed the quest.
Just wait. Here we go. Spoilers, just wait. We're back. Oh, my heart was beating there. Oh man. So we come inside and we meet three lovely little people. We've got Andrew, we have got Paul, and we've got Ian, looking splendiferous in their Cabbage Manta outfits. Look at that. Like, we've gone right on for the details, so yeah. it looks really good. So yeah, this is where you'll start the quest. You'll talk to the Gowers, and they'll give you a little quest of helping to discover why cabbages have started disappearing from the cabbage patch. Only 4 left now, so they'll give you a variety of tasks, and it'll send you on a big, crazy adventure around the world. So yeah, the requirements to start this quest are 34 quest points, which I believe is 1 more than Dragon Slayer. Is that right? Yep. So 1 more than Dragon Slayer, so it'll be the highest requirement free-to-play quest. Free-to-play, yeah, we love free-to-play. Like, everyone should come back for it. Like, if you're a lapsed player, if you're playing old school, just come on, get involved in it. Yeah, like, we've transformed this area. It was an abandoned little building before, and now it looks a lot better. Yeah, I've got all your content here. I don't want to spoil the quest, so I don't want to say too much. Should I show off one of the rewards? Yeah, go on, so, all of them? All of them. Yes. So, if you remember, a few months ago we did a competition, and it was like, so you could pick a reward for from the Gower Quest, and we put it as a player power poll, and the one that won was the teleport. So this is what it looks like. So we'll teleport to Burthorpe. So it's the old login pillars, and then the logo appears. Big firework display, 15 years of RuneScape. And there we go. That's it. So what are some of the other rewards? Who's this cheeky person? So we've got 15 coins, as we said before, a very important reward. And for those that, look at this, everyone's going mental. They love it. Apart from the spoilers. There's not really a spoiler though. Two-handed sword. So this is the Brassica Prime God Sword that you will get. Look at that. Beautiful, beautiful. So yeah, this is just a cosmetic override, so there's no physical item, but you can do it, put over your two-hander, and then constantly be reminded of the awesomeness of Brassica Prime and get your inner Cabbage Mancer going. Cool. Any other rewards we want to show off quickly?
Cabbage staff?
Shall we show the cabbage staff? Let's just do the cabbage staff. Let's go. Where is the staff? And here we go. Like you saw the Gowers wielding it earlier, but there we go. Cabbage Mancer staff with a nice little elongated cabbage at the end for your top tier magic. And yeah, that is the Gower Quest, or the start of it. Anyway, pass it back to Osborne and
Shawnee.
I totally forgot my name.
Thank you, Mod Days.
Oh, look at him.
There we go. Awesome. So, Mod Days, you're going to have to come and join us. You ain't escaping after forgetting my name.
Oh, yeah. Oh, gosh.
Yeah,
we need to make some space.
Need to move up a little bit here. So,
Seamless.
Let's do this. So now we go into our... nice. Now we get into our PvE-oriented discussion, Telos, the solo boss. So, Mod Deg joining us as well as Mod Days. Take us through Telos, summarize it for us.
Telos is a
Telos.
solo boss. Oh,
Sorry, go ahead.
I was hoping that we didn't get that pun this stream. Telos is a solo boss. He is... Now that we're on the stream, I always forget what bits that we are and aren't allowed to say. He's on the Gower Quest too. Spoiler, that's that. I don't remember if that's the thing that I wasn't supposed to say. It probably was.
It's been covered, so you're fine in that
Nailed
sense.
it.
This is a brilliant story.
Got it. I know, it's great, isn't it? Yeah, so he's in the centre of the heart of Gillinor, not like right there. Here's an entrance. You go down, you descend, and he is a sort of giant, hulking, guardian type creature, and you kill him because you've got no heart and you want money.
Well said.
Or a comp cape, either of those.
Or a comp
money
cape.
or a comp cape.
So
Those are your
that
desires.
confirms that one then, in that sense, comp cape.
It was always going to be.
Yeah,
I
of
feel.
course.
Has to be.
Just to clarify that straight off the bat. John Tix, which existing boss in terms of difficulty is the closest match to Telos?
So the difficulty of Telos is actually slightly variable. Kind of like Araxor, where every time you do it, the enrage goes up and it gets harder. He starts about easier than Nex, let's say.
On par with next, say.
Yeah, about, let's say on par with Nex, and then gradually gets
You rinse
more
repeat
and more.
until it gets to a ridiculous degree. In
Yes.
fact, no cap. to the
There is, in
difficulty
fact,
Rage?
so yeah, so it will continually get more and more difficult until you can't go anymore.
That's
so-
what I love about it. In that people will be like, you can't possibly defeat it at
Yeah.
1,000
Well,
in
yeah,
Rage.
and we're going to see someone who somehow does it.
Yeah,
and stuff like
exactly.
that.
And that's why I really want to see people pushing the boundaries.
What'll be fun as well is like as we release new gear, so like there'll be a max that people have got to, and then we'll release like some more armor or something, and then
Yeah,
they'll just
that
push
killer
it like
invention perk.
push it like another 10%.
Yeah, absolutely.
And as it gets more difficult, it also gets more rewarding. So there is a reason to keep going, to keep pushing, to keep trying to show off.
Yes, and I was talking to a few, like Justice actually behind the scenes during the Summer Summit, and I was talking about that there are almost kind of checkpoints that you reach. Is that still
Yes.
the case? So it won't be that you have to start from that next difficulty every time?
Yeah. So if you choose, you can choose to start from
Yeah.
pretty much any difficulty point, and at certain points of enrage, extra mechanics are added to make it more challenging, rather than just like adding some flat numbers and making the health harder.
Yeah.
There are actually extra things that you have to deal with. So you might want to just like keep starting on the checkpoint that's right before the mechanic that you can't deal with, maybe.
Is it a case that some rewards are only available in Rage milestones? Or is it that you just got a better chance of getting them?
So before certain milestones, some rewards are very, very unlikely.
Very, very unlikely. Right, okay.
At the moment, it is possible to get everything at 0 in Rage. It's just...
I like that I'm doing my sprint review here. These are all questions.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Awesome. So we got a question from Two Beasts. Does it have any special rotations like Virago/Araxor?
So we decided to just go for one core rotation, but like spend more time on this enraged system that we just discussed. So it's the whole thing of pushing yourself constantly getting further. There are like mechanics that tick in as you get higher in rages, but it will just be one core rotation.
I think we found that with Virago. Like, if you see the graph of how fought Virago is, and we do have those graphs, oh yes, it's very exciting. People avoid Virago on certain weeks, on certain rotations, and that, you know, is not necessarily the best.
It's the same with Araxor when it's the third path. It just suddenly it just drops.
Yeah.
Strangely
No one's
enough, drops
interested
away.
anymore.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean that we can't layer on more things to Telos if people love it.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
Definitely, yeah.
Oh God, I can't believe I'm about to say this. Question from Flay Our Enemies. Can you please tell us the release date of the new boss?
Oh, go on, we can. Do it.
We can.
You can.
And while you get to say that, we get to queue up an image here. So hopefully our production team are ready.
And
so-
Mod Days is going to say that because he remembered it.
It is June the 27th.
There you go.
Hey.
So that is what is coming up in June. Gower Quest June 20th, June 27th for Telos and the invention updates as well. We'll get into the invention updates in just a little bit when we have Mob High on in just a bit. But yeah, those are release dates for June. So just a spoiler in that sense for you guys, but stuff to look forward to. So be ready for that one. Will Telos have Reaper tasks upon release?
Yes, he will. Or he should do if Mod Ramen has done his job. Which means Mod Ramen, get on it.
Nice. Will there be a question from Kawaii Kurakitty? Will there be a rage-inducing item?
A rage-inducing
So,
item.
like with Araxor, you get
Oh yeah,
the
of course.
yeah.
Sorry, I thought
Oh no!
just a really irritating item.
You choose where you start.
Gotcha.
Basically, once you hit the wall, I can't go any further. You can set it back to 0 yourself. So there's no having to buy an item, and there's no having to come back tomorrow.
Awesome. So a question from Drakaf 1000. Will the new god weapons disassemble into new components which could give potentially new perks?
It's worth noting there are god weapons then, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, for those
Yeah.
people who
There
don't
are.
know, there are god weapons.
We did show one
Hey,
off
yeah.
at the Summer Summit, I believe.
Yes.
The Seren.
The Seren Bow,
Bow.
and there may be another 3 god-related rewards.
Yes.
Potentially. It's almost
Who knows?
like there's 4 generals in the dungeon, so maybe
got
that
no
would-
feeling.
maybe that would correlate.
I've forgotten what the actual question was though,
There's
because we
always
didn't
question.
answer it.
Just need to move the net. There we go. The metal's catching the microphone. But anyway, the question was basically, will the new god weapons disassemble into potentially new components?
No, they are not disassembling into anything new.
Gotcha. Okay. Will all three styles be equally effective there?
That's the hope. It's the dream.
Maybe.
Gotcha.
It might. I think we found so far in playtesting that it is best to have a switch between two different styles. So melee and a ranged or magic one.
Everybody's saying weapon tier.
Yeah, okay. Let's just, I mean,
It's the case we are dodging that at the moment?
I think...
Until a later live stream, I feel.
We have a later live stream, which will be much closer to the release of the, obviously, the Telos content, where we'll have essentially a dedicated live stream for Telos, where then we can tell you all about that.
We're being so mean. We want you to watch this future live stream, really.
Yeah.
We don't want to...
This one's good too.
This is good.
This is cracking.
This is
I'd
great.
say at least 8.9 out of 10.
Keep
going.
Are there any kill count entry requirements for this?
No, there aren't kill count requirements, but you have to, there is a kill count requirement of 1 on all of the existing God Wars dungeon bosses.
We're hopefully going to be putting this out the week before Telos goes live.
So the requirement.
So you'll be able to get it out, and so that as soon as the update goes live, you'll be able to go straight in if you've done that requirement, which would be quite nice.
You'll be assembling a key.
Oh, okay. Question from Chigsy. Can you reveal... no, can't say that. We can't have that. Sorry.
Whoa.
It's the weapon tier. I can't do that one.
Oh, okay.
How long can one expect the boss fight to be?
So as it gets harder, it tends to get longer, just because there's more to deal with. It starts at about 10?
Curse did it about 8 minutes at 0 in rage, but you can see that going up and up. So probably an average of around 10 minutes, hopefully.
Question from Zavixian. Does Telos have any offensive requirements to fight?
Just being good at combat.
I think they meant
really
maybe 80 attack to enter or stuff like that.
No.
Just the
No
one
hard
kill
requirements.
from the key to get in.
Just the key, yeah.
Gotcha.
So that's being able to kill all 4 of the bosses.
So a question from London Joe. Will there be a Telos pre-release event? The Watch normally does this for the bosses and they turn out great.
Yeah, the watch.
There's this pre-release event where you can build a key.
Yeah.
Boom. There you go.
Gower Quest is the
It's a
pre-release.
really nice key.
It's heavy on
maybe.
Telos.
Oh, is it?
No, it's
not. Oh, okay, that's okay.
Apologies.
Will Telos continue the DEG trading or Strange Orb trading sequence?
It is not continuing the Strange Orb. As for the other one, we'll see. Time's very tight.
I didn't know about this until 3 updates in.
The best bit is no one did. No one found it
That's
until
not how
3
the game
updates
should
in.
work. I don't want individual devs to be going, well, I've got that passed in for 3 updates.
Nice. That's, and I think in regards to giving you a quick hint, so just to clarify a couple things that might be new for you, for everyone to know. It's 1 kill on all the God Wars Dungeon 2 bosses to enter, which will give you a key. And then also the other thing is that we're doing a Telos dedicated live stream coming up in a few weeks. I believe not next week, but the week after, but we'll confirm that when the time gets closer. And when that time comes, it will then be your opportunity to ask everything you want, because we've kept it back a little bit, because this is why we want to have this dedicated live stream, but it is a big deal, and I think you guys are going to absolutely love it. But if there's anything, you guys have anything to say on top of that, then...
Prepare.
Awesome. Okay, so thank you guys. I appreciate that. So I'm going to ask you, if possible, to leave.
To go away.
Sorry.
We've got a 2-for-1 offer on
And
more pie.
we're going to exchange a days and a deg for a pie, who will be joining us. And we're going to be talking Ninja, Fally Massacre, and other things along the way. So... As mentioned, the stream lineup is a bit quicker, a bit more concise, and we're getting straight into this, and there's no waiting here, so let's do this. Falador Massacre, what exactly is the idea of it and what we're running with this?
So, Fally Massacre, really important in the history of RuneScape. But, Mod Osborne came over to me and was like, oh, can you give me some ideas on this? And I was like, I've already designed it. It literally was like that. It was like,
I thought it was really clever. It was like, let's do this
let's
early.
do
Let's
this.
get prepping. No, I've already
I've already
designed
come up with it.
it. Yeah.
So
I don't know. We collaborated a little bit. There were some
we
changes.
did. There were some changes. It was
Yeah.
good. It was good. But oh yeah, really excited. Like I say, I've played the game since Classic, so like to actually do the event for this is like it's kind of an honor. Like just to signify like this is like a marking point in the history of RuneScape. So
Yeah, and what was big for us is actually not talking about something as well.
yeah,
I think that was one of the big parts for all this, was that we wanted to actually have a surprise. Just like, strangely enough, the original Falador massacre was somewhat of a surprise. We wanted to do something similar.
Someone
I
loves.
hope it wasn't planned.
So you can't see this on screen, but Modeg can't leave the room.
Deg is
He hasn't got the wrist power to open the
Deg
door,
is struggling to open the door to our left.
which makes him worse than a velociraptor.
Oh my. Okay. So it has been mentioned that this event does, in a way, glorify a bug abuser. What can we clarify upon this?
So this is a difficult one. So I even wrote this on like all the design documents.
It's the end of the news post as well.
Yeah, it's like this is more about signifying a point in RuneScape's history, and this is literally a milestone in RuneScape's history. I mean, we got to a point where we're like, right, we either need to name these or not name these. Like, so, but if we don't name them, people already know the name of them, and they'll be like, why did you do this? I think we had placeholder names in there for them
Curse
a while.
Ed Hugh at
Curse
one
Ed
point.
Hugh and Duradel 321.
Duradel 321.
Yeah, and it just
but
felt like we were
just
weren't
trying to gloss over something
sidestepping the issue
everybody
rather
already
than-
knew.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So we were just like, you know what, we're just going to bite the bullet, just name them. Everyone knows their names anyway. And
And use this as a chance to talk
Yeah,
about, like in
like-
the news post, that, you know, obviously we don't tolerate bug abuse.
I mean,
But we can still talk about this as a point in our history. It's
It is, in
Yeah,
my opinion,
it's
it's
huge,
the most
it's an
infamous.
event.
It's the most infamous event in
and
RuneScape
a lot of
history.
people look back on it fondly.
yeah, and
so
it's
we
worth
did it.
reiterating, both
We had fun.
Cursed You and Dural 321 are still banned. I think Cursed You had some fun trying to log in when he wasn't invited to his own house party. That was quite funny.
Yeah.
But but yeah, he is still banned.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, so hopefully that clarifies that one for you. How long is the event running for?
Just this week.
Awesome. Okay. So there was a Reddit post which mentioned that essentially players enjoyed the. So you kind of alluded to this, but they enjoyed the fact it was very kept under the carpet, secret, and they didn't expect it. Is this
Yeah.
something we are going to attempt to approach
It's
with? in the
something I
future?
love doing. I like when I make content. Although I'm going to be contradicting myself when I talk about Bounty Hunter later, but when I make content, I like to leave a lot of it to like surprise. So that when you first log in, you find out about these
Yeah.
things, and like it works well for some things, doesn't work well for other things.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's variety. I think it's a case of,
Yeah.
as people have mentioned on Reddit, that there is, we did poll, the majority of people want to know and be hyped about certain releases. They also want to know so they can influence it, add feedback to it, because obviously we're open to that, and they can see it in live streams. But that, like with Elf City, for example, where we added like lots of surprises, you know, Elfborn and various
mention that.
Raven Swan and all of this. Like we can keep some things surprises. Quests we always have as a bigger surprise as we can, but occasionally I'd like to drop these things in.
I do like to drop a bombshell. Like I did it with Dartscape as well, and
Yeah,
I really
it's-
enjoyed that. Just
seems to be
like the
you.
reactions of, wait, what?
A part of the problem is that there are people within this company, not naming names, who can't keep a secret, constantly blabbing about things that are upcoming, and we're trying to kick that out of the game. We're trying to kick that out of the game. It happens.
Well, there you go. Wow. Okay, so let's move on to Jewel Anywhere, released last Monday.
Yeah.
You were, of course, responsible for that.
Yeah, I wanted to get that one in.
Yeah, so
another,
did you
another
wanna-
throwback to the old RuneScape.
Yeah.
This one was interesting. Like there weren't many there wasn't much weight on Jewel Anywhere. It's more kind of there's a certain like I've wanted to get a bit of fun back into RuneScape. Like it seems over the years we've kind of gone, all right, you got to be this max XP per hour kind of player, etc. So I wanted an update. Obviously I like PvP. Everyone knows this, and a bit of fun. So PvP for fun. It's also a throwback to Classic. So also there's this kind of friction about PvP, as in PvP can't be fun. It's this big scary thing that happens in the wilderness. So for me, Jewel Anywhere, like it was an update for kind of like, you know what, here is a way you can just play for fun.
Yeah.
And it's like the day of release, it went down really well. So lots of people fighting in Prif. Obviously that's tapered down since it's not such a new thing, but I think it's a really good addition to the RuneScape landscape. And just like walking through and seeing a couple of people having a fight and being able to like throw down the gauntlet on people.
It's,
It's
we're
great.
not in the position where we're going to do a major update on PvP at the moment. What we want to do is just kind of let it grow organically from some kind of well-placed updates. Just small things like Duel Anywhere. Obviously, Bounty Hunter's a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
But it's still, it's not a major update for the given month. We're just kind of just filling it out. And obviously, with the survey, it's got questions in there about PvP. So just seeing if people are open to it. Just kind of let it grow.
So, is Duel Anywhere considered finished to you, Pi, or is there maybe anything else that you're hoping to get into it?
Depending on how popular Duel Anywhere is. Obviously, we've got statistics on
Yeah,
how
we
many
can
people are
track it.
doing duels. We did have a few other things we were talking about. Should we
We've mentioned it. I think
Yeah,
I think me
yeah.
and Kelby couldn't help ourselves just to reveal in terms of like resource fighting and mass fights, mass duels.
One of the original designs we thought was fun was you've got this idea of like fighting for resources, like get off my tree, get out my spot, etc. So we had the idea of you could basically duel for the spot. And then if you lost the duel, you would not be able to gain any XP within a certain radius of the duel. So if you could literally fight for a spot. So
like a Slayer
say
mob.
someone crashed you whilst you're at Slayer, you could duel them for it, and then they would have no option but to leave.
The number of times I would have done that.
So do you know how about 5 minutes ago you were like people couldn't keep their mouth shut about
What's the next question?
potential-
I can't remember. You have a script. Come on, keep to it.
Wow. Okay, I see where we're going with this one. Okay, so you mentioned it, Pi, Bounty Hunter. I mean, this is something that's kind of been in like kind of the backlog as such as you've been slowly working on it. But like,
In your backlog.
take us through it. by
I've
all
just been
means.
slowly chipping away at this, just talking to small parts of the PvP community, like what would you like to see? And there's some very core things coming up. So Bounty Hunter itself is a way in which you can make money through PvP. That's the core of what Bounty Hunter will be. A lot of PvP, when you play it, wealth is traded. Wealth isn't injected. And we talk about this risk versus rewards thing, and like PvP is the most highest risk, but doesn't give like decent rewards. I mean, we've had systems in the past, don't get me wrong. I'm not going to be creating EP System 2. I know how bad that was for the game, and it's definitely not happening. But like the whole point of the actual Bounty Hunter update is to allow the activity of PKing to make money, effectively. So it's wealth injection through PvP. And for me, that's really important if it's ever going to gain any kind of traction.
Just puts it on parity,
Yeah.
greater than parity with skill and PvP, PVMA.
In a development perspective, how far is it along? In like how close are you
So
to?
at the moment, I am writing version 1 of the design. When I'm done and
A lot of the dev work has been done in a weird way. We're
Yeah.
almost kind of looping back to the design stage.
so in my tap, I've been resurrecting the old Bounty Hunter code. When I did the Legacy beta, I created this thing called Deathmatch, which I created for fun. I spent a lot of time playing arena shooters when I was younger, and that is quite possible. Like, and I was thinking like, that's how I got into PvP things. Like,
Rocket jumping confirmed.
yeah, strafe jumping, but I'll let you off. But like, that's like, I was terrible when I started, but because it was fun and you could just jump in, I got better. And that's the kind of thing I want for PvP in RuneScape. Places where you can just jump in, you play, you get a bit of rewards, you learn, and then all of a sudden PvP isn't so scary. So in terms of where it is, harking back to the original question, so we've got some prototypes. We've got a prototype which some players have even played. It went on a beta. But at the moment, I'm creating version 1 of the design. Once the design is made, obviously I'll send it for internal feedback. But once we're happy internally, I will put it on the PvP forums.
Nice.
And like the full design, everything will go on the PvP forums. Because I really want this to be something, I want Bounty Hunter to be something for the current PKers.
Yeah.
And I want them to have a very strong voice on what the mechanics are, whether the rewards are good enough, whether or not the whole system is good enough. But I think they're going to be surprised about a few things we're putting in recently. I'm not gonna say what we're putting in just in case. But yeah, there's some pretty
I can tell you're
sweet
passionate about
things.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a baby.
Yeah, I am passionate about it, but it's very important that also our current PvP PKers have a very strong voice in it. Like they could just Like, I could put version 1 out there and they could just rip it to pieces.
Yeah.
And that would be okay, because if it's not good enough for our current PKs, then, you know, the new breed of PKs we're hoping to get from Deathmatch won't like it either.
Yeah.
So you mentioned like betas. Is there any plans to beta test this at all,
Not currently. I don't think it's really a beta-able thing. I think the design pretty much speaks volumes.
If we're being brutal, we haven't seen great responses to betas.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
think it's a case of you'll get a few, but you know you don't gain XP, you don't make gains.
Yeah.
And maybe we're also throwing in a few obstacles to doing betas, which is something we need to sort.
Gotcha. Right. So let's just get into this because we have a lot of ninja-oriented questions. So let's
Yeah.
do this. Can the summoning bar get a different color when it's displaying special move points rather than summoning points?
Yes.
Can you guys update Cabbage Face Punch Bonanza?
How?
More detail, please.
More
You guys
detail,
ask us
please. Yeah,
on
like,
that one.
Not traditionally doing many minigame reworks.
No.
Can you update Raptor Slayer monsters to make killing them more desirable?
That is actually on the Combat Council's backlog.
Yeah, we've talked about that.
Nice. Can certain NPCs, for example, ham members and gnome children, get left-click pickpocket options?
So this has been on the Ninja backlog for a very long time, and the reason why it's been for a very long time is because it's a lot of work. We need to recode every NPC that pickpockets.
Really?
So it's not
yeah.
it's not as simple as
Oh
just
my.
swapping an op. It's
No.
just
Just copy and paste elf pickpocketing. Sorted,
Yeah,
isn't
yeah,
it?
simple, right? It's a very big job, but it's on the Ninja. It is on the Ninja backlog.
Okay.
Can the factory outfit and a botanist outfit share their effects if both are owned?
No.
Can golem parts on the Falador be a bit less ludicrously expensive?
I believe that's by design, I'm afraid.
Can the Mega May cases that lead up to Kindred Spirits stay in game permanently?
Maybe.
No.
Oh.
Hello?
You were-
It's we need to talk about that.
Yeah.
They were designed to be temporary. The rewards
were.
are designed to be temporary. A number of things, like if you started the game and you walked over to Mega May, do we want that to be the first experience they have? There are a number of issues. I'm happy to talk it over with, but in particular, Hellring, I know is very much involved in this. Really wants it. I wouldn't be surprised if that's where the question came from.
Gotcha. Can you stop the lucky perk proccing when resonance is active?
Yes.
Will Cracklin's damage be changed from magic to based on the style you're currently using?
Combat Council seems happy with it. I need to double check with the Guardians, but yes.
Can you reduce the drain rate of augmented Acto since it's way more expensive than anything else augmented? Yeah, its unaugmented repair cost is really small.
So I believe Mod Timbo is going to be having a stern look at charge drain rates. So I believe it will be addressed then.
Can you allow us to scroll in split private chat with the chat system rework?
I got a maybe on that one. It needs some technical investigation, but yeah.
Can you add skeletal horror to the weekly
Skeletal.
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 Why did I say
Skeletal.
skeletal? Skeletal. Why the heck did
I love
say
He-Man
that?
and his Skeletor.
Why did you... Could you add... Can you add
Come on,
skeletal
mate.
horror to the weekly D&D reset token?
No, we've got enough. What is it? I can't get epic out of the head. Elite clue scroll
Oh, yeah.
Gotcha.
injections per week, so we don't want to do that.
Can you change the Cedicide's left-click option to say inspect the same as herbicide?
Yes.
Could you add the Gobi reputation to the trimmed completionist cape requirements?
You want us to add a trim rec? This has to be the first time. We'll see what the community says on that one, I think.
Yeah, I know there's one particular person in-house who wants to work on the comp and trim recs.
Right.
Wants to do some work.
We'll let the Twitch chat maybe have a little bit of an opinion on that one, because I imagine that's going to come up in just a second. The ethereal outfit should act as a wicked hood, but it doesn't because it doesn't work if the hood is stored in a player-owned house costume room. Can you fix it?
That sounds like a bug, so I'm sure we can fix it.
Can we use the cremation ability on the Prif bonfire?
No.
Could you look at making dungeoneering lock melters cheaper to make?
So once again, Timbo is going to look at all of the recent batch of tech tree stuff that we've recently released. So the lock melter will be included in that. So he's going to readdress all of those.
Awesome. Would it be possible to give, more names. Would it be possible to give Zahu, the herbalist in Nada, the ability to clean noted herbs, maybe at an increased cost per herb cleaned?
You have passed.
That pressure.
Not immediately, but this is something I've asked for ages because of miscellanea. But it would be cool, but I think it needs to go through a Timbo pass. I have a feeling he might say no. Maybe if you sacrifice the XP.
The warning for the Varrock sewer, is it possible to add a toggle for it in the Doomsayer warning interface, or maybe add a level cap for the warning?
I might add a level cap for the warning. I think cluttering the already cluttered Doomsayer interfaces probably isn't worth it. And let's be honest, it's Varrock sewers, it's not that scary anymore.
Yeah,
Unless you're scared of moss giants, in which case.
It's a fair point. And that brings us to the end, ladies and gentlemen. And as mentioned, I'll mention it just one more time in case you weren't aware, the Dev Q&A new format is essentially being a lot more straight to the point, concise, and trying to get you guys the answers to your questions as soon as possible. So I hope that has kind of clarified it. If it's possible for our production team, can we bring up the June releases again quickly, just before we end this stream here? I mean, they're talking to get the other streams out, but that's fine.
What is the other stream? What is this? Tell me about it.
Yeah, totally the other stream. So coming after this, we're going to be passing over to our customer support team, who are going to be doing their own little stream. And then...
That was so patronising.
How? How is that
They're going to do
patronising?
their own little stream.
Wow. Oh, because I said little. Oh, I see the problem. Oh, no, I'm sorry. That's horrible.
All right, I'm sure.
Going to go offline for a little bit.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Okay.
So, and the other thing is that I'm doing a stream from 6 p.m. game time, 7 p.m. BST, where I'm going to be essentially restarting the Falador Massacre event. So for the people who missed out on the house party when we launched it Monday afternoon, you'll get to come back and watch Cursed You get 99 construction all over again. So keep an eye out for that one. So on that note, we're going to finish up here, and then in 20 minutes time, we're going to be passing over to the customer support guys who will be going live on stream. So do come back for that, and have a great day, ladies and gentlemen. It's been an absolute pleasure, and we all hope you have a good one.
Cheers.
Oh,